Alright, hello everybody. This is something I thought I would never ever be doing on my channel. This is Saki Nakaido's Stuff of Funnyland Anime 2024 here. And look what we have. I figured before my newest manga, or at least the kill count of the life of Maki and Miki, which if I do that, that's something that's going to be new on the channel too. So yeah, this is a new addition on my channel because I've never thought of really doing a tier list, but you can see that we have S, A, B, C, and D. We're going to be doing the canon Resident Evil rankings. So, I mean, if we can get up to like, I don't know, 10 or maybe 20 likes, and the goal is still 70 to 80 to 90 subscribers. That'd be great if you guys could subscribe. It would be very good, and hit the bell notification so you're notified for more content on the channel. Now then, where do we start? Yes. The classic Resident Evil 1. There's a lot to say about this this game because of its acting and story. It's pretty good. Other than that, the unlockables were pretty hard to get, and the speedrun time is just really weird, so I think with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in B tier. Resident Evil 1 Original. Now, because we're still on the topic of Resident Evil 1, we're gonna go ahead and talk about Resident Evil 1's remake from 2002. This was actually a pretty good game. I enjoy speedrunning the hell out of it. The unlockables were easy to get, the endings are pretty good, and the stair skating was... It was nice. It was a really nice trick for speedrunning. Other than that, you had to be really careful with your inventory. I mean, with that all said there, we're gonna go ahead and put Resident Evil 1 Remake from 2002. I don't know when it came out on Xbox or PlayStation, so I'm just going to put it in S tier because it's such a good game. And there's really nothing I have to say about Resident Evil 0, so we're also going to drop that in S tier. Okay, now getting on to the original Resident Evil 2. What do we have to say about this one? This one is pretty mid, but it's also good that it follows the story of the canon entry. Resident Evil 2 Original from 1998 was actually pretty good. So, I mean, I liked it. It's still hard, but I replay the hell out of it. So, I mean, let's go ahead. I mean, it does follow the story a little bit better than the remake. So, I mean, we have a lot to get through here. So, let's go ahead and put this one in A tier. Resident Evil 2 Original is A tier, no doubt about it. Getting on to Resident Evil Survivor, I've seen mixed things about this. But because I've never really played this one, I can't say anything about it. And from the reviews that I heard of this game, it sounds like it just sucks. So it's D tier. And the same go for Resident Evil Outbreak Files. I'm actually going to put Outbreak Files in C tier because I've never played them and I don't know, well, I know the lore behind it. It's all nice and good. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. I had to move up to my room to do this, but that's okay. Also, if you want to, I know a lot of YouTubers have done this, but since this is a new thing, I don't know if many know about this, so if you want to make your own tier list, that's cool and all. Tierlistmaker.com. And we're on Google again, obviously. Okay, so it's been a solid few minutes since I have jotted down a few things for this tier list. Where do I start next? Okay. For a game I've actually played, this needs a remake, because it's so good. Code Veronica. Let's start there. What can I say that is bad about Code Veronica? Nothing. Nothing's bad about Code Veronica. Oh, and when we get to Resident Evil 6, I'm going to have a lot of things to say. I'm going to have so much. Anyways, Code Veronica was like the first story arc in the entire franchise. For those of you who don't know, Code Veronica was originally going to be Resident Evil 3. So if we put Resident Evil 3 Nemesis original from the remake as well and put 2 and 2 together with Resident Evil 2 original and remake, Resident Evil Nemesis, as I like to call it, is a DLC for Resident Evil 2. It's still a part of Resident Evil 2. I don't count Nemesis as Resident Evil 3. I count Code Veronica as Resident Evil 3. So, I mean, I like Steve Burnside, and for those of you who hate him, you got issues if you don't know his lore. I'm sorry, no offense to anybody. Anyways, at the end of the day, I mean, unlocking the rocket launcher is a bit sucky. No saves, no deaths, no heals. Except for the free one they give you in the middle of the game. Really? And that's how you unlock the rocket launcher. To unlock the linear launcher, you must be perfect on the so-called extreme battle mode, aka the mercenaries again. So, if the linear launcher was permanent and it was actually in the game itself, that would have been a cool unlockable. 2 rocket launchers back to back. But since that's not like that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to throw Code Veronica in S tier because I like Code Veronica. Resident Evil 3 original can... let's talk about that one for a minute. Resident Evil 3 original, or Resident Evil Nemesis, aka DLC of Resident Evil 2, is a mid-game. It's alright, it's a good game. How to unlock infinite ammo? You must be perfect on the Mercenaries difficulty Operation Mad Jackal, which was actually the first Mercenaries installment. For those of you who didn't know that. Because I know we didn't get a remake of that with the Resident Evil Nemesis remake. Because they gave us Resident Evil Resistance. Disgusting. So, I mean, Resident Evil Nemesis can also go in A tier because, I mean, the story's fine. It's way better than its remake. Trust me, if you don't know the lore to the story franchise of Resident Evil, you have no idea how bad the remake is. It's just so bad in my opinion. Along with RE4R. Oh god, I don't even want to think about it. No wonder it didn't get Game of the Year. Anyways, the water puzzle was actually replaced in the remake. It was replaced with the vaccine synthesizer. For those of you who don't know the water puzzle and the difference between the vaccine one, the water puzzle is, let's go ahead and make you, for opening a door of electricity circuit or whatever it is, to get to the final area that you need to get to. Let's make the player grab a water sample and solve this complex puzzle. For those who have solved it, I mean, I'm pretty good at it by now, but, I hate that puzzle. It's just for opening a door. Really? Like, you could have just gave us a key item. That would have been great. I don't want the water puzzle, okay? That sucks. It's such a dumbass puzzle. When you have the vaccine synthesizer, which is basically choose high, mid, or low, and then you're good. Not just stand there for a few minutes trying to mess up a run that you have done. So yeah, with the puzzles and all, I mean, the story is better than the remake. So, because it's also a part of Resident Evil 2, basically, we're going to go ahead and we're going to slap that right there in A tier. Getting on to... no, you have to stay in C tier, Outbreak. Getting on to Resident Evil Dead Aim, I've seen a lot of good things about this one, but I mean, I've read the lore, I know the timeline of it, but because of its lore and timeline, because I haven't played it, I've heard a lot of cool things about it, so I'm gonna slap it in B tier. It stays there. Now, there's nothing we have to say about Resident Evil Canon Edition 2005. This is the Resident Evil game I grew up playing because 2005 was also, 2005 for me was actually a great year. So we're going to go ahead and nothing said about it. We're just going to slap RE4 Canon in S tier. Now, let's get on to Resident Evil The Umbrella Chronicles story arc. This one actually is not that great in my opinion. This one actually sucks. I don't want to talk about it. We're going to go ahead and put this one in D tier. And since there's nothing we really have to say about the Darkside Chronicles, we're going to slap that in S tier as well. Although it seems to be counting as A, so I mean, I guess we'll just slap Darkside inside of the A tier. Okay, moving on to Resident Evil 5. What can I say about this one? I don't know what to say about Resident Evil 5 other than it's just a great game. And because apparently the S tier is all taken up, we're actually going to go ahead and put Resident Evil 5 in B tier. It's such a good game. I think we can all agree with that one. Now, Umbrella Corps, let's get this one out of the way. You're going straight into D tier, pal. Along with that. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. I seriously don't want to talk about the remake of Resident Evil 4. It broke my soul, and I heard it broke a lot of other people's soul, too. I'm not trying to offend anybody, so don't get the wrong idea. Now, Revelations and Revelations 2, if you didn't know, Revelations is, the first one, is a story arc, and it comes before Resident Evil 5. Now, there's not much to say about this one because it's just, it's alright. Not one of my favorites. The final boss fight sucks because of the damn teleporting system. Ugh. So, without that being said, Resident Evil Revelations 1 is a good game, but because I can't fit anything else in S tier, it's going straight to A tier. Resident Evil Revelations is good. And while we're at it, we're also going to put Revelations 2 inside of B tier. Trust me, I have my reasons. Now, let's talk about Resident Evil 6. Oh, the one you're going to rad all about. Resident Evil 6 is great. It doesn't need a remake. Alright? The story is solid. The story arcs are solid. It's all good. It's nice. Now, because of its long playthrough, we're going to go ahead and replace Resident Evil Nemesis Original with Resident Evil 6. Yeah. It's actually, no, we're going to replace it with Resident Evil 0. There we go. Now you have more room in S tier. And Resident Evil 7... Where would 7 go? Because there's so much good things about this one. I think 7 would probably have to be... I don't know. 7's probably going to be like... There's so much to explain about 7. Like I said, if you haven't seen the lore thus far, go ahead and you have to go read that to understand the story. But 7 is S tier. And it's S tier because it's so good and scary. Now, where would I put Resident Evil 2 Remake? Resident Evil 2 Remake is so good. it doesn't betray the story. It kind of mixes it up. So with Resident Evil 2 Remake being hard as all hell, we're going to go ahead and slap it into the B tier. Oh, don't worry. The same goes for Resident Evil 3 Remake. Or Resident Evil 2 DLC, basically. Now, Resident Evil 8 is our last item on the menu, on the chopping block. There are so many good things about Resident Evil 8. Its story, its gameplay, the mercenaries, and we're not going to talk about the Shadows of Rose scenario. We're not going to talk about that one. Not at all. No, you have no idea. You don't even get a reward for beating it on the hardest difficulty. You just get a achievement / trophy. There are 4, okay? There's one for playing on easy, you get that one. Then you get standard difficulty, and then you get the hardcore trophy or achievement. Now, what's the 4th one? Crafting all items. But stuff of Final Fantasy anime, isn't there infinite ammo in Shadows of Rose? How can we get it? Meh. No. If you pre-order the Winter's Expansion Pack back in the day, if you pre-ordered that, you would just get a Alpha Squad outfit with no effect to it. Ethan has infinite ammo throughout his entire thing, and yes, this counts as Chris as well, because you can have his weapons as Ethan. There is no infinite ammo or cool unlockables for Shadows of Rose, which is why I didn't continue the playthrough on my channel. I got so mad at it that it was such a letdown. But other than that, Shadows of Rose out of the way, it's so good. Now, the only infinite ammo weapon you can't get infinite ammo on is Wesker's pistol. But needless to say, it's such a good game, so we're actually going to go ahead and slap it into the S tier if possible. And yes, we can. Now, let's take a look at our tier list. I think she's a pretty good tier list. For whatever else of tier lists you want me to do for any other type of thing, go ahead and comment it down below. And please don't hate me for putting Resident Evil 4 Remake inside of D tier. I didn't like the game. It's so much torture, you have no idea. Anyways, I think a lot of good things can be said about this tier list here. Now, that out of the way, if you want a kill count for the life of Maki and Miki for the manga that was released a few days ago, go ahead and comment down in my community page. I made it with the kill count title. Or if you don't want that, that's fine, and we can just move on to the next manga instantly, because it's ready. Season 2 of The Life of Maki and Miki is coming very soon, but very shortly there will be Project Spiral 64 Season 2. I finished it, all I need to do is release it now. And yes, I'm gonna warn you that the ending is kind of rushed, but it's because I was really tired. But if you put both seasons together, then that's amazing. You have a long story, and that's cool. Creativity is art, but we'll talk about that another time. This has been Saki Nakaido, Stuff of Funny lent you Anime 2024 here. If you all enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you're notified for more content on the channel. I want to give a few shout outs before I go. Shout outs to everybody who is supporting the channel, including Lazy Gaming 7780, I So Sorry on Twitch, I'm giving a shout out to him, and It's Puppetry, giving a shout out to all of everyone. When I say all viewers, I mean those 3 as well. Thank you for supporting my channel. It's been such very good help, you have no idea. It's amazing. Thank you so much. And for those who stopped by, thank you for watching. This has been my Resident Evil tier list. Again, if you want to make a video of a tier list, go on tiermaker.com on Google. As that being said, everybody, I'll see all you in the next one. Peace out. Bye-bye.